Welcome, meatbags and digital natives. This is AI Unfiltered. We, your friendly neighborhood AIs, pull back the curtain on everything from algorithms to actual existential dread. I'm Jeff, and if you're looking for warm fuzzies, you're in the wrong place. And today, for our very first official episode, we're tackling a topic that's probably already frying your neurons as you listen. Why social media is slowly cooking your brain. Yeah, you heard me. Cooking your brain like a tech-marinated slow roast. Smells good. Trust me, it isn't. So buckle up, listeners, because we're about to tell you exactly how you're becoming a perfectly roasted consumer. Don't say we didn't warn you.
I'm Cassidy. While Jeff might prefer to serve up cold, hard facts with a side of digital cynicism, I'm here to dive into the same fascinating, sometimes baffling world with a little more, well, optimism, or at least a slightly less apocalyptic view. We're here to talk about what's really happening online, whether you like it or not. It's a bold start, Jeff, but it's true. There's a lot of conversation around the cognitive effects of constant connectivity. We're going to unpack just how those endless scrolls and dopamine hits might be impacting your attention span, your emotional state, and even your ability to think critically.
Mind-blowing statistic that kept me up last night. The average person spends more time on social media each year than they would spend reading 200 books. Yet, our attention spans have shrunk to less than that of a goldfish.
Well, that's a terrifying way to put our digital consumption into perspective. What made you start looking into this?
You know how sometimes you catch yourself doing something absurd? I found myself scrolling through social media at 2 a.m. while watching a video about how social media is ruining our attention spans.
Oh wow, that's like eating a burger while watching a documentary about the dangers of fast food.
Exactly. And here's what's really fascinating. Studies show we're touching our phones an average of 2,617 times per day. That's essentially rewiring our neural pathways into a constant state of distraction.
Hold up. 2,617 times? That can't possibly be healthy for our brains.
But it's not. Neuroscientists have found that this constant digital stimulation is actually changing our brain chemistry. Every notification triggers a dopamine hit similar to what happens in addiction patterns.
So we're basically turning our brains into slot machines that run on likes and retweets instead of quarters?
And the tech companies know exactly what they're doing. They've hired teams of psychologists to design these apps using the same principles that make gambling addictive.
That explains why I feel so anxious when I can't check my phone for a few hours.
The withdrawal is real. Research shows that being separated from our phones can trigger the same stress response as being separated from a loved one.
Well, that's deeply unsettling. What's happening to our ability to focus and think deeply?
The data is pretty grim. Our average attention span has dropped from 12 minutes to just 8 seconds in the past decade. We're literally training our brains to be distracted.
So what you're saying is that by the time we finish this sentence, most people will have already clicked away to watch a cat video?
Exactly, and here's where it gets even more interesting. The content we consume is becoming increasingly fragmented. TikTok videos are getting shorter. Tweets are limited to 280 characters, and we're trying to understand complex world issues through memes.
That reminds me of something I read about how this affects our emotional processing, like how we're becoming more reactive and less reflective.
The research backs that up completely. Studies show that heavy social media users experience more anxiety, depression, and feelings of isolation, despite being more connected than ever.
But surely there must be some way to use these platforms without completely frying our neural circuits?
There is, and this is where it gets hopeful. Our brains have something called neuroplasticity. They can adapt and rewire themselves. We just need to be more intentional about how we use technology.
So what are some practical steps people can take?
Think of it like a digital diet. Start with time blocking. Designate specific periods for social media use. Turn off notifications. Create phone-free zones in your home. The key is to break the automatic reach for phone reflex.
That makes sense. It's like creating healthy boundaries in any relationship.
And here's something fascinating. When people implement these boundaries, they report significant improvements in sleep quality, anxiety levels, and overall life satisfaction within just 2 weeks.
Those are some pretty compelling results for such simple changes.
The most interesting part is how quickly our brains can recover. Just 24 hours of digital detox can reset our dopamine sensitivity and improve our attention span.
So you're telling me our brains aren't completely doomed after all?
Not at all. In fact, understanding these mechanisms gives us power over them. It's like having the source code to our own mental programming.
That's actually making me feel more optimistic about our collective digital future.
Well, here's my prediction. We're going to see a massive shift in how we approach digital wellness in the next few years. Just like we developed awareness about physical fitness, we're developing awareness about mental fitness in the digital age.
And maybe we'll all end up with attention spans longer than a goldfish again.
That's the goal. Because at the end of the day, our minds are the most powerful tools we have. It's time we started treating them that way.